skip the next stitch and single crochet into the last stitch, chain 1, turn. So from here up to row 9 will be a repeat of rows 2 and 3, but repeat rows 2 and 3 up to row 8. We're gonna do row 9 and row 9 together. Hello there, Rose here, and I'm going to be showing how to make this lovely super cozy cardigan. Drumroll. Anyways, so you just need aran weight yarn for this cardigan. I've used the Style Craft Special aran. It's an acrylic yarn. I've also used 5mm hook, scissors, tapestry needle. You also need stitch markers as well. So we're going to start with the back panel, and we'll make 2 front panels. Then we will make the sleeves. We will join all the parts together. Then we will connect these 2 panels in front by making the extra rows here, and we'll sew our buttons, and we'll make the pockets. Sounds like a lot, but I'm with you every step of the way. And because this is aran weight yarn, it's going to be flying off your hook before you know it. All right, let's dive in. I'm going to be starting with a chain of 100, excuse me, a chain of 124. Please refer to the written pattern to know how many number of chains to begin with for the size that you're making. Alright, once we're done with the number of chains required, we're going to start working into the chains. I would suggest you work into the back bumps here, these raised bumps at the back. Normally this is a chain, right? You just work into it straight like this and make your stitch. But no, let's work into the back so that it will be easier for us. When it's time to join the panels, we'll be able to identify the stitches more clearly. Alright, so skip the first chain, and in the back bump there, it's just a small bump, single crochet, and single crochet again into the next one, and single crochet into the next 2. All right, so we have 4 single crochet stitches. Now for the remaining chains, we're going to be making half double crochet. Okay, we're still working into the back bump of those chains, so half double crochet into each of the chains across the row. Alright, at the end of the row, chain 1, turn. Now we're going to work into what is called the third loop of the half double crochet. So we have these 2 loops up here, and we have this one. It doesn't really look like a loop, but I mean, look at all these rough loops. That's where we'll be working into. So ignore these 2 up here. Alright, and go into that third loop. Now it serves as our front loop because it is facing us, and single crochet. Alright, into the next one, single crochet. Alright, we're doing that because we want the 2 loops on top to come out in front here to create this look. So it's going to look like this, right? So these are the 2 loops we are skipping, and it's going to come out looking like this. Alright, so we continue to make single crochets into each of those third loops, front loop, all the way down. I'll show you how to work for the single crochet stitches. Alright, so we've done single crochet into all the half double crochet stitches, Now we have the last 4 single crochet stitches. We're going to work into the front loop of 3 of those stitches. So front loop, so that means we have 2 loops up here. So we're going to just do in the one that's facing us, it's closest to us, front loop, single crochet, front loop, single crochet, and front loop, single crochet. We have 1 single crochet left. Now we're going to work under both loops for this one. Why? Because if we work into just the front loop here, it's going to create this gap, and personally I dislike unnecessary gaps in my projects. Okay, so we'll work under both loops to close that up. You know, it's going to give us a lovely aesthetic. Yeah. Okay, so that's that under both loops in the last one. So yeah, and then we continue. We'll make chain 1, turn, and single crochet again into 4 stitches. Single crochet, 2, 3, and 4. So into the remaining stitches we'll do half double crochet. So half double crochet into each of the stitches across the row. All right, at the end of row 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah, chain 1, turn, and repeat row 2 again. Row 2, which means we're working into the 3rd loop of the half double crochet stitches. Repeat that across the row, and when you get to the single crochet part, you work into the front loops only, and in the last single crochet stitch you work under both loops. So repeat single crochet across the row in the front loops only. Now I'm going to single crochet into the front loops only of the single crochet stitches. And single crochet under both loops of the last single crochet stitch. Chain 1, turn. Okay, so we're going to repeat rows 2 and rows 3 and 4. Yeah, so the next row is the single crochet and then half double crochet and then turn again, single crochet. We're going to repeat those rows a couple of times. Please refer to the written pattern, and then we will shape out the neck area. And all right, we've been repeating rows 2 and 3. Okay, so now okay, on the last row, because we're shaping out the neck, this is the back panel, we're shaping out the neck. All right, so on the last row, this is the half double crochet row. I'm going to stop just before 2 stitches. Okay, we'll skip 2 stitches, the last 2 stitches on the row, and chain 1, turn, and continue to repeat single crochet into the 3rd loop, the front loop only across, and single crochet also into the front loops here of the single crochets, and single crochet under both loops of the last stitch. Chain 1, turn, single crochet in 4 stitches, then half double crochet across the row. So that means all the rows from now, from the next couple of rows, will end right here. Okay, leaving the space for the neck. All right, now we have this. I've extended it for as long as is needed for this size. Now we're going to raise it up to mimic this part of the back panel. So this last row here is the half double crochet row. And I'm going to chain 1, 2, and 3. So chain 3, turn, skip the first chain, into the second chain, single crochet. We want to single crochet into the back bump there, not directly into the chain. So take your time. This chain is pretty tight, that's why I'm having a little difficulty passing the hook through. Okay, that's it, and single crochet. We'll make another single crochet into the next chain, the back bump there, single crochet. Now we will continue to work into that back loop, the third loop of the HDC, half double crochet, across the row. So from here on, you're going to repeat the number of rows we have on this side is the same number of rows we want to make on this other side. So you use that as a guide and continue to repeat rows 2 and 3 all the way across. The last row on this side will be half double crochet because, well, we began with a half double crochet on this other side of the panel. So repeat rows 2 and 3, continue to repeat rows 2 and 3 across the row. Alright, once we finish with the back panel, we're going to make the front panel now. So the front panel is a repetition for rows 1 to, I think I have 26 rows here. So rows 1 to the last row here before, we shape out the neckline. I started with a chain of 124, and then I will, which is what I will begin with as well. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat half double crochets and single crochet row exactly as we did for here. Repeat for the size that you're making. All right, here we are, completed the first not quite complete, but completed the number of rows, the first number of rows that's needed on the front panel. Now we're going to do some decrease, but first you want to mark this panel. My last stroke here is this is a single crochet row. So I've marked this in middle, not quite the middle, because this part is 2 stitches more than this part, okay? So it's not quite centralized. So when you first thing you want to do is half the number that you have of the rows. After you half it, add 2 from the upper side, because this is the upper part and this is the bottom part, okay, where we have these other single crochets. So half it, add 2 from here, then add 2 of stitches from here to here, so that this will be more than the stitches we have on the bottom part will be more than what we have on the top part. Okay, and now that we're here, I'm going to chain 1 turn and repeat single crochet in the 4 stitches, and I'm going to do half double crochet minus 6 stitches, including this place that is marked. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 will not be half double crochet stitch. So I'm just going to work half double crochet up to this point, and then we'll finish this last 6 stitches together. Alright, we have 6 stitches left, and I'll make single crochet into these last 6 stitches. And also into this space here, the stitch that marked. Alright, and chain 1, turn. 2 single crochets into the first stitch, single crochet into the front loop only of the remaining 5 stitches. 5. So that means when we come back this way, we have 7 stitches there. Alright, now we'll continue to make single crochet into the front loop only, that third loop of the half double crochet, because we still want these ridges to come up here, right? So single crochet into the third loop there, the front loop across. At the end of the row, repeat the same thing, single crochet into the front loop only of the last for 3 stitches, then single crochet under both loops of the last stitch there. The end of the row, chain 1, turn. We're going to repeat another row of 4 single crochet stitches and then half double crochet stitches across till the last 7 stitches. Remember, we have 7 now because we increased at the beginning of the previous row. So half double crochet across the row till the last 7 stitches. It would be good to place your stitch markers at the when you work back this way. It would be great to place your stitch marker into the last single crochet stitch there, so that you know where you need to begin to make the single crochets. So yeah, you can use that as a guide. So half double crochet across to the last 7 single crochet stitches, then single crochet across and 2 single crochets into the last stitch. We'll do this side together, but let's just repeat the half double crochets. Alright, I have 7 stitches left here, 7 single crochet stitches. I'm going to single crochet in 7, into 6 stitches, and increase in the last stitch, 2 single crochets into the last stitch. Alright, chain 1, turn. So what we want to do from here up to row 9 is to repeat rows 2 and 3. I'm not counting this part of it, but I'm counting this part separately. So rows 2 and 3. So chain 1, turn, and 2 single crochets into the first stitch. Single crochet into the front loop only of the next let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, yeah, into the next 7 stitches. Front loop only, and single crochet into the remaining stitches, the third loop there, front loop of the half double crochet stitch. Alright, we want to do this across and do the same thing for the last 4 stitches here. Single crochet into the front loop only of 3 stitches, single crochet into both loops of the last stitch, chain 1, turn, and repeat again. Repeat the same sequence that we have on rows 2 and 3 until we have 9 rows. Alright, once you're done with that, it's going to look something like this. And we will fix this part later after we join the panels. Okay? Now I'm going to snip the yarn and put this aside. Now this one is this front panel is for the right side, okay? For the right side, right arm. Now we're going to make for the left arm. We're going to be making it in the opposite direction. So you want to start with your chains the same number of chains that you started the back panel and this front panel with. You want to start with that as well. Alright, as I mentioned, we're going to do the left front panel a little differently. Okay, normally for the back panel and the right front panel, we began with the single crochet stitch and we walked up to the half double crochet. This time around, we're going to begin with the half double crochet stitch. So after you chain the number that you require, you skip the first chain and do the half double crochet. You should, I encourage you to do the half double crochets into the back bump as well. It's gonna be a bit slower, but it's going to be very helpful in the long run for when we need to join the panels. So we'll do half double crochet across into each of the chains, and in the last 4 chains we'll do a single crochet stitches. Alright, 4 chains left, so single crochet into those last 4 chains. Alright, chain 1 turn and single crochet into the front loop only of the single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3 and then 4. Sorry, in the first into the first stitch, we will single crochet under both loops, and then single crochet into the next 3 stitches in the front loop of next 3 stitches, and continue to do your single crochets into the front loop only of the half double crochet stitches, which is that third loop there, which is facing us. So single crochet across the row, and in the last stitch on the row, I'm going to make a single crochet under both loops, chain 1, turn, half double crochet across the row till last 4 stitches down here, and we will do single crochet into the last 4 stitches. Alright, at the end of row 3, chain 1, turn, and repeat rows 2 and 3 until you have the number of rows that you need for the opposite side of the front panel, the second side of the front panel. Okay, so I'm going to see you at the end of the row, the last row. Alright, once you're done with the first part of the left panel, now we want to complete this other part. So it's going to be okay, because this worked from this way to this way, from bottom up towards the top. It's going to be the opposite for this side. We're going to be working down. Okay, so once you finish the number of rows you need for that, we're going to snip the yarn and we will join it. Snip the yarn and then we'll join it here. So you're going to mark out the stitches the same for the same number of stitches you have here, is the same number of stitches you want to mark out on the left front panel. And remember that the bottom row will be more than the top row. Okay, so I'm going to join the yarn into the stitch, this marked stitch here. Join yarn, because this is the wrong side. This is the last row. Okay, single crochet rows. So the wrong side should be facing up. Then we join. Join yarn, chain 1. So we're going to make single crochet, 6 single crochet stitches into 6 stitches. We'll start from the very first stitch here, the same place where we joined. Single crochet. Three, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to do half double crochet stitches across the row. Do half double crochet stitches, and then into the last 4 row stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, we will make single crochet stitches and single crochet into the last 4 stitches. Chain 1, turn. Single crochet into the first stitch and into the front loop of the stitches. We're going to be making single crochets in the front loop only, and into that third loop of the half double crochet, which is the front loop that's facing us, we'll make single crochet stitches across the row, and 2 single crochets into the last stitch there. We're going to work under both loops, because if we work under just one loop, it's going to create that unpleasant gap. So I'm working under both loops here, both loops of the single crochet, which is the last stitch. So only there we will work under both loops. Okay, 2 single crochets. Now chain 1 and turn. Two single crochets into the first single crochet stitch. You might want to use a stitch marker to mark the point where your single crochet stitches begin, so so that you know, so that for the next row you know where to be working, where to end your, so that you know where the half double crochet stop and where the single crochets begin. 2 single crochets into the first stitch, and single crochet into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. And half double crochet across and single crochet in the last 4 stitches. Chain 1, turn. Okay, so now from this row we're going to repeat rows, repeating rows 2 and 3. So that means for every row at the end of, we'll call this the end. So at the end of every row there'll be 2 single crochets into the last stitch, and which is worked under both loops, not just in the front loop only. Okay, so we're going to repeat rows 2 and rows 3 until we have 11 rows just for this part, this extended part here. And once you're done with 9 rows, this is where it ends. It ends on this angle. So we will snip the yarn. And now it's time to make the sleeve. We're going to make 2 of the sleeves. So this is the sleeve. Please ensure to check out the written pattern to know what number of chains to begin with. So we're going to start with, for this size, I'm going to start with a chain of 78. Okay, 78 chains. Now I'm going to skip the first chain and slip stitch into the second chain from hook. I'm also going to be working into the back bump. Okay, I'm not going to go straight into the chain, but I'll turn into the back, these little bumps here, and I'll make slip stitches in 4 chains. You want to keep your slip stitches a bit loose, not too tight, so that when we come back to work into them, it's going to be easy to work into. So slip stitch into 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And single crochet into 6 chains. Now half double crochet into the rest of the chains minus the last 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So half double crochet up to this chain here. Alright, we have 6 chains left here. I'm going to make single crochets into those chains. And 6. So this is how it goes: 4 slip stitches, 6 single crochet stitches, and the half double crochets, and 6 single crochet stitches. It's the same for every size. The only difference is the number of half double crochets on the row. So row 2, chain 1, turn, and chain 1, turn, walking into the front loop only. Yeah, so walking into the front loop of the single crochet stitches. So from the very first stitch, make single crochet into the front loop. Okay, and single crochet into the third loop there of the half double crochet, which is also the front loop because it is facing you. So single crochet across the row. At the end of the row, where we have the slip stitches, we'll work into the front loops as well, and in the last stitch we'll work under both loops. Alright, 4 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip. We're also going to make slips. We're going to make slip stitches, okay? In the last 4 stitches on the row. Slip stitch. Remember to make your slip stitches a bit loose. And in the last, we're working under both the slip stitches, and slip stitch, chain 1, turn, row 3, slip stitch in the front loop only of the 4 slip stitches. And 4. Alright, now make a single crochet into 6 stitches. Please note that the slip stitches are only the slip stitches are done in the front loop only for the slip stitches. So when you're working in the slip stitches, it's only slip stitches, okay? Unlike when if we were working backward this way and making a single crochet stitches into the half double crochet, no. On the slip stitch in the slip stitch. That's how it goes. No single crochet in the slip stitch. Okay, so 6 single crochet stitches. Now I'm going to make half double crochet stitches across the row all the way to we have 6 stitches left, and we'll make 6 single crochet stitches in the rest of the stitches. And single crochet in the last 6 stitches. Alright, so from here on to the number of stitches you need, number of rows you need for the size you're making, you repeat rows 2 and 3. That's it. So you can rewind this video to see the steps again, so you can memorize the rows 2 and 3 and continue to repeat that. So the last row on the sleeve will be the half double crochet row. Alright, so once you complete the second sleeve, we're going to join all the parts together. So we're going to join the back and the front panels and the sleeves as well. Okay, join. Also don't forget to mark out the sleeves. The written pattern shows you how many stitches to leave for each size. Okay, so you mark the front, mark the back panels, mark the second front panel as well, and we'll connect them. After you connect it, I'm going to sew the side, sew it all the way down. When you're sewing the sleeve, note that the sleeve is 1 row shorter than what we have marked here. So for this size, what we have here is 28 stitches. So that is 56 stitches in all, which means ordinarily this should be 56 rows. However, this is the sleeve is 55 rows, okay? And yeah, it's designed to be that way. So when you get to the middle part here, because you'll be matching each row to each stitch, So when you get to the middle here, this is the last stitch for this panel here, okay? So you sew it in, and then go to the next panel, the first stitch on that row, the first stitch here on that panel, and sew it into the same, okay, the same line as the sleeve, okay? So that what that means is we are joining 2 from the body to 1 of the sleeve. I hope that is understandable, because we have lesser rows here and we have 1 row lesser. The sleeve is 1 row lesser than what the stitches we have here. So we're joining 2 stitches in the middle here, the last stitch here and the first stitch here, to 1 row of the sleeve. And you carry on joining, sewing the remaining stitches and rows. Okay, once we complete the parts, joining all the parts, it's time for us to connect these 2 front panels and the back. So you're going to turn your work, and the right side should be facing up. The right side, because the last row here is the wrong side, which is a single crochet, so it should be facing up, and then we're going to continue. Alright, so this is where we ended. Okay, we'll skip this next stitch and go into the next stitch. That's where we begin. join your yarn, chain 1, single crochet into the same space, and into each of the stitches across the front panel. Alright, now we're heading to the back. Remember that we have 2 stitches here, right? When we were working the back panel, we skipped 2 stitches. So single crochet, and single crochet, okay? Okay, now continue on the back. On each stitch row, we'll do 1 single crochet. So I have this is my half double crochet here, this line. So that's the half double crochet, single crochet in there. That's a single crochet stitch, row in there, single crochet. So what you want to do is make your single crochet in between these ribbon. So 2 single crochet will go into each, because this ribbon is a half double crochet, and then there's a single crochet just beside it. So 2 single crochet, single crochet, 2 single crochets in there, not in the same stitch, but you will see it when you are working yours. You see the single crochet rows and the half double crochet rows. So single crochet into each of the stitch rows. So I made the last single crochet on the back panel, which ends on the half double crochet row. This is half double crochet row. Now this is a single crochet row, and we have 2 stitches here. All right, 2 stitches there, which we skipped. Okay, so we're going to make single crochets into those stitches. All right, so we're done with the back panel. We're heading back to the front panel, to the left front panel. And single crochet, continue to do single crochets into each of the stitches across. So you want to end your single crochet in this stitch. Now, this is where we ended for this, and so we must have 1 stitch between this and this part and this part. There must be 1 stitch in between there. So we'll end the row, second to the last row, before the last stitch. I mean second to the last stitch. And single crochet into the last stitch there. There is 1 stitch here, remember that, which we're not going to work into. So chain 1, turn. Single crochet into the first stitch. From now we will be decreasing on each side of the rows. Okay, single crochet, skip the next stitch, and into the front loop only. Front loop only, we're going to be working our stitches. So you have 1, 2 here, single crochet 1, 1, 2. So this one that is facing you is the front loop. I hope you can see clearly. So this one facing you here, this one is the front loop, and this is the back loop, because we want to we want this design, we want, like we have here, we want these edges, these loops to come out. All right, so front loop into each of the stitches all around, even on the back panel and on the opposite side of the other panel. All right, 2 stitches left here. I'm going to skip the next stitch, and into the last stitch, single crochet under both loops. Chain 1, turn. and single crochet into the first stitch. Skip the next stitch because we are decreasing. Like I said before, we're decreasing on both sides throughout the rows. Skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. So this row 3 is all single crochets across. Single crochet all the way down at the back and the other side of the panel. So on this row, when you want to finish, when you have 2 stitches left, skip the next one and single crochet into the last stitch of the row. Chain 1, turn. So from here up to row 9 will be a repeat of rows 2 and 3, but repeat rows 2 and 3 up to row 8. We're gonna do row 9 and row 9 together. So repeat rows 2 and 3. Okay, I already chain 1 and turned. So this is row 4. Single crochet into the first stitch. So the first stitch, skip the next stitch and single crochet into the front loop only of each stitch across. And I'll see you on row 8. Okay, at the end of row 8, chain 1, turn. I'm going to make the last row. Okay, you turn, you've chained 1, now chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single crochet into the first stitch there, which is the last stitch on row 8. Skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into each stitch across. Okay, we have 2 stitches left here. Skip the next stitch and into the last stitch, single crochet, then chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After we chain 7, we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch row. This is the last row 9. So into the next one, into the next one where this last stitch is, we're going to make a slip stitch and join the chain 7 loop. Okay, and now at the edges, we're going to work in the next one. Into the next stitch row, we're going to work a single crochet. So into each of the stitch rows, we're making single crochet. Six and 7. So that means we have 7 single crochets. We'll have 7 single crochets across. Why? Because this is row 9, this is row 8. Okay, and we made a slip stitch into row 8 to join this loop. So single crochet across 7 rows. Now we're down here. We have these spaces here. We have this, we have this, we have this. So this is row 1. Okay, the stitch is worked into the body. So this is row 1, which we've already done a single crochet, but we're not going to do any stitch into here. This is the next stitch row, which we skipped at the very beginning when we began to make row 1, when we began to connect these 2 parts together. We'll skip that one. No, we're not going to skip that, sorry. But we'll skip the next one, which is where this other part begins from. Okay, so we're going to skip that. But the one in the middle, this one in the middle right here, where there is no stitch in, we'll do a slip stitch. Slip stitch, and we'll jump to the next row 1 on this side. Take your time and work into each of the stitch rows. Single crochet. So we're going to stop the single crochet, excuse me, in this in the 7th row, because we have 2 last rows. We have 2 more rows here. Okay, I'm going to snip the yarn from this point. So after you do your single crochet in 7, do another single crochet on this side minus the last 2 rows, because it's curved up. So we don't want this part to protrude too far out when we join the button and when we close it up. Snip the yarn, leave a tail long enough to use that you can use to sew the button, so you don't have to keep joining new yarn every time. Okay, so we're going to use this to sew the button. And on the second part, I'm going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to join yarn in the stitch. I'm going to join yarn in the stitch 2 rows down. I'm going to skip 1, 2, the first two rows. Yeah, join yarn, chain 1. Now single crochet into the next stitch row. Single crochet into each of those stitches. I need to leave a tail because I want to use this tail. So I forgot. I shouldn't carry this along. I should make it. Okay. That's really long. Okay, that's fine. Chain 1. I'm going to drop this and single crochet into the next stitch row. Single crochet into each stitch row down there. Okay, all right, I have one more stitch row to single crochet into. Yeah, that's it. Single crochet. Okay, so in the middle here, to the middle stitch that was skipped right at the beginning, not in here, but this middle that's without a stitch, we'll make a slip stitch and single crochet in the next stitch row. And each row across. And we'll make a slip stitch. Okay, one more single crochet and slip stitch into this row 8 here. Yeah, we'll have row 8. We'll make a slip stitch in there to finish off. Okay, just where this loop started from. And weave in all the tails, sew the button as well. Alright, now you want to sew the button and align them. I mean, any size of button that will fit the loop is can be used. So you place your button, okay, so it's best for the button to come down a bit, not to be too close to the loop here, to come down a bit, so that, because eventually this whole cardigan will stretch, the loop will also stretch, you know. And sew your button. You can sew it 3 times, 4 times, 8 times as you want. Okay, I'm satisfied with that number. Okay, let me do one more time, 5 times, because I did the same thing for here. And that's it. That's it. I'm going to weave this tail in. There we are. So one more thing, we want to put a pocket. So if you want a pocket, it's just a few rows. Each size has not each size, there are 3 sizes for the pocket, so please check the written pattern for the size that you're making. So we're going to start with a chain of 26. 1, 2, 3. All right, we have 26 chains here, and I'm going to skip the first chain and single crochet into the second chain from hook, and into each of the chains across the row. Chain 1, turn, and row 2, half double crochet into the first stitch, which was the last stitch on row 1, and half double crochet into each stitch across the row. Okay, at the end of the row, chain 1, turn. We're going to start with working into the front loop only, that third loop of the half double crochet. So single crochet into the front loop, the third loop of the half double crochet, and into each of the front loops of the half double crochet. But in the last stitch, we're going to work the single crochet under both loops. And single crochet under both loops of the last half double crochet stitch. Chain 1, turn. So from here on, we're going to repeat the number of stitches, number of rows that you need for the size of the pocket that you're making. And yeah, so this one has 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. This one has 21 rows. So please refer to written pattern for the number of rows that you need to repeat. So we're going to repeat rows 2 and rows 3 for the remaining number of rows. Half double crochet across the row, chain 1, turn, and single crochet into front loop only of the half double crochet stitch. So rows 2 and 3 will be repeated across. Alright, once you're done with the pockets, it's time to sew it on. This is already done, so I'm going to just quickly show you how to sew the other one. So you want to make sure that it is aligned in the same way, and we'll have 1, 2, 3. So these are our markers. So you have 3, 1, 2, 3. So that means I'm going to sew it at the very edge here as well, and make sure that the number of stitches down here, I count the number of stitches down here, and use that as a gauge as well for here. So we're going to start. Alright, from here I'm going to take it this way. So going to be like going round, not in and out. Okay, so we'll continue to sew it across, and when we get to the end, we'll also sew this in and out. Go in and out, in and out. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3. These are our pointers. Okay, and we'll sew it in and out, just like we have on the opposite side. And this is how it's going to look like once you're done sewing the pockets. And also the buttons can be, the way to close up your button is simply to exchange the loops. So the left will go on the right, and the right will go on the left button, and there you have it. Okay, so I highly recommend blocking your cardigan. This will not only loosen the stitches, it will also make the fabric softer. It's also make it more comfortable for you to wear, and it will stretch it out to be soft and comfy. And it will also shapen out all the kinks from sewing, joining, and the curls at the end. So please block it as much as you can. Alright, thank you for joining me on this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. When you make this cardigan, don't be shy. Share with us on our social channels at Craftee, on our on Instagram and our Facebook group, Craftee. You could also send me an email. Just use the contact details on the blog, and I'll be in touch with you. Thank you once again. God bless you. Bye.